Today we're going to cover 3 short coordination games that you can integrate in your next climbing or practice session. These exercises are going to warm up your brain and will bring you in a riddle solving mindset. They will challenge your hand-eye coordination, rhythm, and will enable you to better distinguish your left and right hand. This will result in a better climbing performance by improving your hand flips, contact strength, and by gaining a wider field of view to be able to see your next hold better. The first exercise is a small coordination riddle, which we can use to improve our posture, warm up our arms and shoulders, but also to integrate a cognitive element into our off-the-wall training. If you want, you can follow along right now. Stand or sit down and make yourself tall by lengthening your spine through the crown of your head. Our first position is the one where we will elongate our arms downwards. Our second position is where you flex your elbows while you keep them inwards and bring your hands towards the shoulders. For the third position, you will bring the elbows outwards and go from a vertical position towards a horizontal position. As a fourth one, we will open the arms. The fifth and final position is with our elbows bent in a 90-degree angle with the hands overhead. From here, you go back to the previous positions until you are back in the starting position. Your first task is to understand and link these 5 positions without hesitating. Feel free to replay the video if you were not able to grasp this sequence. Once you are able to repeat these 5 positions repeatedly, it's time to add another restriction. Now we're going to begin again from our starting position, but initiate one action from the left hand. From here, we restart the sequence with one action in between. If you would lose the pattern, start back on the bottom and reinitiate the movement. Make sure to execute the pattern correctly for 3 to 5 times on both sides, and if you are able to perform the full sequence, you can progress towards adding 2 steps in between. If this goes well, you can add 3 actions in between. From here, you have all the tools to continue adding steps in between. You can progress towards 7 actions, switching between different amounts of steps in between, or work with different speeds and rhythms. This was a great pattern to get your brain warmed up to go climbing. If you want more warm-up inspiration, you can always check my movement warm-up guide for climbing in the description. The next 2 drills will both help you to develop a well-balanced system by making you perform the opposite of the pulling we do in climbing. And they will help you to further improve your reflexes and peripheral vision. Our first element is a very easy one, but is essential to build upon for the further variations. Start with throwing the ball in the air with one hand. Throw it around eye level and catch it with one hand again. Try to catch it softly without too much pressure in the hand. Repeat it on both sides and now try to take your vision away from the ball, but keep the ball within your peripheral view. This is an essential element in climbing to maintain your focus on a certain location and already have a sense about the area of the next hold. For the next variation, we will work with 2 balls and start with a synchronized pattern where you throw both balls simultaneously into the air. Repeat it for 10 throws and now try to do it without watching the balls directly. Once this goes well, you can try an asynchronized pattern. Again, if you're able to keep the pace, you can try to redirect your attention away from the balls. If this goes well, you can try to perform the same pacing of the asynchronized pattern in one hand. Perform the pendulum motion on both sides and really try to keep the balls at eye level. The goal is to have a pattern that continually repeats itself without too many deviations. Once this pattern goes well on both sides, you can try to work towards a one-hand fountain where you go from inside to outside or from outside to inside. These are the perfect preparations to go towards some more advanced juggling patterns as a synchronized or asynchronized fountain or columns. Our next and final pattern is a great one to combine with the previous variations. there the elasticity had to be exerted upwards, and now we will be directing it downwards. We will start again with a simple pattern with one ball. Throw it towards the floor and catch it with the palm facing upwards. Repeat it for 10 repetitions on both sides and repeat it again where you keep the palm facing upwards. Once this works well, you can integrate the elastic component by throwing it downwards and bouncing it back as you would when dribbling a basketball. From here, you can work towards multiple bounces per hand on both sides and then try it in a symmetrical fashion with 2 balls. You will start with the same basic progression to go from underhand catches towards overhand catches, and from here progress towards the bounces again. If this symmetric rhythm is well installed, you can try the asymmetric pattern. From here we will really increase the complexity by switching between the symmetric and asymmetric pattern. A final element you can add is to integrate a hand switch just as you would find in a climbing specific scenario. Start with your symmetric pattern again and flip both hands simultaneously towards the underhand position where you try to bounce the balls twice. Switch back to the overhand position, and once you find the control over the balls again, go back for 2 bounces in the underhand position. To make it harder, you can bring one hand from the overhand position towards an underhand position. Try to perform 2 bounces with the switch grip and switch back to the double overhand grip for 2 bounces. From here, go back to the switch grip on the other hand and continue the sequence. You can add another layer of difficulty by leaving out the switch to the double overhand position and go from a switch grip towards the other switch grip every 2 bounces. Try to build up towards 1 full minute of every pattern, and don't forget to enjoy the struggle. Give these patterns a go and let me know in the comments how it went. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more movement insights to further improve your climbing.